Kamala Harris is ineligible to serve as vice president. Joe Biden's campaign team says the president sought to fuel racism and distract from his response to coronavirus. Chief Foreign Correspondent Phil Williams reports from Washington.
Kamala Harris's vice presidential race had barely begun when the president questioned whether she was qualified to run at all.
So I just heard that she doesn't meet the requirements. I would have assumed the Democrats would have checked that out before she gets chosen to run for vice president.
That was based on a magazine story penned by a lawyer questioning if she was eligible to stand because her parents were immigrants, even though she was born in the USA. The vice presidential hopeful and her new boss were signing paperwork to accept their party's nomination and wouldn't be drawn directly on Donald Trump's attacks.
I'm signing this because I am in this race to win.
The president has form on so-called birtherism, challenging Barack Obama to prove he was born in the United States.
I think it's a terrible pall that's hanging over him. He should show his birth certificate.
The president is also accused of withholding funds for the post office to discredit mail-in ballots, the favoured voting method for millions of predominantly Democrat voters fearful of catching COVID-19 at polling stations.
I'm not saying anything wrong with voting. I want them to vote. But that would mean that they'd have to go to a voting booth.
The Democrats say the post office is being deliberately starved of funds, with overtime cut and sorting machines removed to delay and disqualify mail-in ballots.
The president has been afraid for a while. He knows that on the legit, it'd be hard for him to win.
Post Office chief and Trump donor Louis DeJoy rejects suggestions of a conspiracy, but even some Republicans aren't happy.
Now is not the time to be cutting back services.
Many Democrats fear the president senses defeat and is doing all he can to discredit the democratic processes, even slowing down the mail. He's already warned mail-in ballots could be vulnerable to Chinese, Russian and Iranian vote rigging. Some are fearful of a full-blown crisis if he loses and then refuses to leave this place. Philip Williams, ABC News, Washington.
Northern Territory Police say a 56-year-old man has been killed in a freak fishing accident in Darwin. The man was with his family on Darwin Harbour yesterday when a large fish launched onto his boat and hit him in the chest. He was brought to a nearby marina for CPR, but paramedics say they were unable to revive him.
Reports are that the male was just struck with blunt force trauma to that left chest and then rapidly deteriorated over the course of 20 to 30 minutes.
After kind of finding out that someone had got a mackerel into their side, and it sounded pretty horrible.
Authorities haven't confirmed the type of fish that fatally wounded the man, but mackerels have caused serious injuries in the past. The NRL is investigating alleged racial abuse aimed at Penrith Panthers winger Brent Naden. This was during last night's game against the Warriors. A group of 8 men in their early 20s were escorted by police from the stadium in Gosford. It's understood Naden reported the abuse to Perth trainer, who took action to have the group removed from the ground. In the past, the NRL issued bans for those found to have racially abused players. The governing body once again promised to take the strongest possible action.
Things like this don't happen that often, but they should never happen. And when they do happen, we have to act decisively. We have to act in a unified and strong way, and that's what we intend to do.
The incident marred a significant win by the Panthers. It's the first time the club have won 9 straight games. Naden scored the first try of the match, set up by an informed Nathan Cleary. The Panthers led 16-6 at the break, but did not cross again, withstanding a bit of a second-half fight back from the Warriors to win 18-12. Well, the weather around the capital cities for tomorrow, it'll be a sunny day in Brisbane, mostly fine for Sydney, partly cloudy this Sunday for Canberra, showers for Melbourne, rain in Hobart, early fog and a possible shower for you in Adelaide, chance of a storm in Perth and mostly sunny for Darwin. Well, that's the latest from ABC News. Remember, you can keep up to date at news.abc.net.au and on iView. I'm Mariam Saab. Do stay with us for Planet America. It's coming up next for you. Thanks for your company.